What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we've got an interesting video to talk about in relation to Mark Stein talking about Andre Drummond and the likelihood of him getting traded away from the Chicago Bulls. And I will talk a little bit about that in this video. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and whether or not you think Andre Drummond will be traded away from the Chicago Bulls. Mark Stein basically said it is, I guess, going around the social media world as we speak right now, basically saying do not be surprised if Andre Drummond will be a person that is traded away from the Chicago Bulls. Now, this is not necessarily confirming Andre Drummond's on the trade block. It's basically just a rumor in many ways. Don't be surprised if it happens. And altogether, I think it's extremely logical to think that Andre Drummond will be traded away from the Chicago Bulls. There are so many signs suggesting to that point that Andre Drummond will be traded by the Chicago Bulls to any other team in return for, hopefully, assets that will help this Bulls team. And if you don't know those signs, well, let me tell you some of those signs, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, let's talk about his contract situation. Andre Drummond, by the end of this season, has a player option, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't think I am. And basically, a player option in free agency terms is the player gets to decide whether or not he returns to the team that signed him or not. It would be for this pretty much the same money that he was getting in this year, which is around 2.6 million, something around along those lines, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. And at the end of the day, with a player option, it's on Andre Drummond's hands whether or not he wants to stay with the Chicago Bulls team or not. It's been a known statistic now that Andre Drummond in the last 12 games has got little to no game time for the Chicago Bulls. He's averaging 13 minutes per game. Most of it was at the start of the season. This time around, he's not really playing for the Chicago Bulls. So instantly right there, that will make Andre Drummond's decision to rejoin the Chicago Bulls very, very difficult one, to say the least. I don't think he's thinking in his mind, man, I could get a guaranteed 2 million that I'm making just sitting on the bench playing for the Chicago Bulls. Yeah, let's do that. At the end of the day, Andre Drummond has persisted that he's a starting center in the NBA. And he's been on the bench for most of the teams that he's played for recently. But at least he was playing in those games. With the Chicago Bulls, he's not really even playing anymore. So if he is going to sit there and accept the player option, you would have to question Andre Drummond and why he would do such a thing when he could go to a different team and play some games. He's still 28 years old. He's basically in his prime at the moment. And he's wasting his prime with the Chicago Bulls at the moment. So that's two things right there. Well, I think another thing is that Billy Donovan persists on small ball. So instantly as well, even if Andre Drummond was playing, he's not necessarily playing a style that would suit him as well. So there's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. And the list goes on and on. But I guess I've got to ask you a question here. Do you think it's logical, with everything I've just said, Andre Drummond not getting a lot of minutes, Andre Drummond having a player option, the Bulls not necessarily wanting or using him in the right way? All these things add up. Do you really think it's a smart choice for the Bulls to keep Andre Drummond on this team? And do you think it's a smart option for Andre Drummond to be on this team and accept his player option once free agency comes? I think the answer for both of those questions is absolutely not. Andre Drummond is still averaging 6 points and 6 rebounds in 13 minutes of action this season. That's a really good statistic to have, and trust me, there will be teams out there for Andre Drummond that see what he's doing for the Chicago Bulls and could potentially want to have his signature. Maybe it's not a contending team like what maybe we thought the Bulls would be at the beginning of the season, maybe even what Andre Drummond thought the Bulls would be at the beginning of the season. But come the end of the season, there will be other teams that would want Andre Drummond, maybe pay the same if not more than what we would pay for Andre Drummond, and then you've got a guy that can average 6 and 6 in 13 minutes of action. I don't think many teams out there in the NBA would want to refuse that, which is why I don't think it's a surprise that the Bulls would want to trade Andre Drummond, and at this point I think it's the right decision to do. My ultimate goal, what I really wanted for this Bulls team, is to see Andre Drummond play. We were screaming for a backup center last season, and the best we got was Tristan Thompson, who unfortunately just couldn't really make that big difference that we wanted. Now, Andre Drummond has averaged a lot of good points, a lot of good rebounds. He might not be, I guess, making that big difference now, but he was a significant upgrade over Tristan Thompson, and he's a significant upgrade over most teams in the NBA and their backup centers. He just is, and we haven't utilized him correctly in that way. But if we're not going to use him, it is the right decision to trade him, because he has trade value, and we could get something in return that will help this Bulls team. I think it makes sense to trade Andre Drummond at this point in time. Whether we want to see him play or not, the fact of the matter is the Bulls are not playing him. And that's a very harsh decision. I think personally it's the wrong decision, but that is how the cards have been dealt. So, logically speaking, it makes perfect sense to trade Andre Drummond. I don't really think there's any argument that can dispute that at the moment. So yeah, ultimately, that's what I think will happen. I think if there's any trade that the Chicago Bulls make, it will be for Andre Drummond, essentially. I think Andre Drummond is the most likely candidate to leave the Chicago Bulls team. And I would wish him all the best wherever he goes, because I do think he has been wrongly used on this team for a variety of ways. But that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Billy Donovan persists in small ball. Well, I sincerely hope whatever we decide to do, we get a small ball center into this team that will utilize what Billy Donovan wants to do, because I can't see a world where Billy Donovan leaves at the moment. I really can't. As much as Bulls fans don't like him, I can't see that situation happening. So at least go and get him the players that he wants, and maybe he can make a big difference as a coach, and obviously the player that he brings in can make a big difference for this team. I don't know. But logically, makes perfect sense, and that's where I'm going to end this video here. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next Chicago Bulls video. This Bulls team's got me on autopilot mode at the moment. I'm just cruising through. I don't have any emotions anymore towards this team. It really is getting to that point where I just feel lifeless. This Bulls team can surprise us and make us happy, and the Bulls team can make us as depressed as possible. But all things considered, when you mix it all together, you get autopilot. You just get neutral. That's how I feel about this Bulls team. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.